to begin. What will happen as the 12 drivers come across the line, and we go and De Bruyne inside the top 5. Over the crest of the hill we go. A fast and frightening first couple of corners as they're pretty blind. We don't really hit the anchors until a couple of corners later, and given the fact that the field is quite spread out due to the rolling start, don't expect any moves in the first couple of corners, but especially as we get onto that long back straight and head in towards the hairpin at the end of it, that's when I'm sure we'll see the drivers making their first overtakes for position.
Ricardo leading, NSX leading, F40, Miezono, Gallo and Lopez breaking away from the front of the pack. Also going with them is Jose Serrano. But we're about to get to our first big straight here and our first big slipstreaming opportunity. Who's got the power? Let's find out. Miezono leads. We go into the dark, into the tunnel for the first time here. Awesome to see all these cars out on track together. Gallo there, deep in the slipstream, big speed in the background. Will he go for a move though, down towards the left hand? He does. Gallo goes up into the lead. Easy move there for him, using that straight line speed of the NSX. And up into the lead goes Valerio Gallo. Miezono does try and come back at him. Not quite there. Coquet Lopez actually getting past Serrano in the background too, but then also having to vie for position with the AMG driver. So this is getting already pretty feisty.
Yeah, pretty feisty in the back as well. Stroza and Barbara have come together, and there's an investigation going on for that incident, but it's pretty calm up in front, but for those couple of overtakes. Down through into the final sector we go. You can already see a bit of daylight beginning to build between Gallo and Miezono. Lopez and Serrano are going to have to be a bit careful if they don't get involved in squabbling for position for third place, because if they do, they will be set to lose a fair bit of time, and it might be difficult for them to make up that deficit as the race progresses on. Meanwhile, the end of the first lap, Gallo it is at least. Lopez picks up a penalty then for track limits, presumably there. Half a second penalty for him. That will drop him behind Serrano when he serves it. And crucially, will it drop him behind the likes of De Bruyne, maybe into the clutches of Carrazza for 5th or indeed 6th place. Lopez also a little bit wide at that first corner. That leaves him under pressure here from Serrano, and the Spaniard in 4th place rather, can't take this line down. He's got to make every opportunity count while he can. Up the inside as we go through into the left-hander, into the tunnel. Serrano up and through into 3rd place, runs it a little bit deep, but Lopez won't have any chance of retaliation into the next right-hander.
Yeah, you can see these guys squabbling. Has sort of brought Kai De Bruyne back into the fray. In 5th place currently is the Dutch driver in the R32 GTR. Dumont has made his way up to 6th position there just behind him. So good recovery so far. But what an awesome lineup of cars. I always say this when we use these cars. It's so nice to see all these guys, all these cars on circuit together. This is what Gran Turismo for me is all about. Right now, Valerio Gallo leading the way in that NSX down on the straights. That looks like a rocket down the straights, Tom. That
yeah, it's pretty handy, the straight line, isn't it, that Honda NSX? So that's good news for him. Meanwhile, behind you see Serrano and Lopez. Oh, Serrano very sideways. There must have been contact going into that left-hander, because Serrano was fishtailing all over the shop going through there. Lopez still sitting in 4th place, and he's got that half-second penalty to serve, as we know, this time around. Dumont, meanwhile, has managed to escalate himself up a few places into 5th from 8th on the grid, and Sasaki likewise up from 10th into 7th position as well. There's a right gaggle of cars here. Oh, Jimmy, there's an R32 Nissan GTR. You might recognise that.
The best car in the field, I think, mate, honestly. So Kai De Bruyne, of course, a man with taste, as he chases Kylian Dumont, and also another very cool car, the Mark IV Supra. So Supra versus Skyline. We're on board now with the Frenchman, Kylian Dumont, and there now is Kai De Bruyne sitting just behind him. You can see the power of this thing down the straight there. 252, 62, 70 like it's nothing. 300 kph plus 200 mile an hour as we go into T1 there. Hard